they are having battles as to whether we should cross over to the next curriculum or to the new curriculum, which in a way has been looked at as a curriculum that is going to focus on talent, on skills, on what these kids can do, and you're just trying to strengthen that. That, in my own opinion, would be as good as specialization that we witness in some of these superpowers. You know, like you go to China, they right that from that point of birth, and from that point of where a child is able to understand something, then they're taught in the direction of what the society thinks is their strength, and sort of they capitalize on specialization. So these people grow up knowing very well that this is my line and this is what I'm going to focus on. Contrary to what we see today here, if you go to school, you study this, and then when you go out there, you focus on business that has got nothing to do with what you studied. And most of the people have done that. That's probably why we've sort of felt like maybe there's no point of going to school. If you're going to do, sort of something to do with architectural work and all that, then you come out here and you do business in line with PR and everything. So do you suppose then, if we are to go ahead and implement the current, the new curriculum, then we'll have sort of sealed the gap that has been there between employment, between, of course, the market out there, and basically what has been, what students pick up as, education as sort of tools to usher them in to the market out there. So are we going to have bridged that gap and gotten the right thing in terms of education that will match up to, of course, ensuring that these students are braced and equally fixed, of course, fix this as a difference that is there between, of course, the market and what we have?
Linda, if you look at the countries that fall under the core countries, the developed countries, you realize that they knew that before. That's why they actually had the opportunity to give people. Okay. You can earn from your talent. You can be skilled. The people were just born naturally that I can fix this and it works. Yeah. So they actually identify your potential and then they measure on it. I'll tell you something. Personally, I didn't want to be a PR practitioner. Oh. But because that is the course I was, this one you have to do.
Yes.
I'm regretting. I wish I did gardening and counseling, because then I am so passionate about it.
Yeah.
I am so passionate about the youth and the relationships. I do a lot of research about relationships. And I did PR. I mean, look at it this way. I am thinking if I did gardening and counseling, I would be so far than where I am today. Okay. Yeah. Oops. Anyway, which I will still pursue.
Yes.
So if we look at it the other way around, that skills and talents can still give us opportunities to create jobs. Because if one is, if you're able to use your talent, then it means you don't have much effort to put.
Yeah, to put.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So you just pick
automatic.
it. Yes. Yeah, it comes automatic. Yeah. And by the way, I think everybody who runs business will agree with me that it needs your inner drive and passion to make it.
That's interesting, and I think brings a twist to what we're discussing this morning. And later on after break, we'll be briefly touching on how you can switch from what you went to school to do and just switch to what you think you like, and proceed and make the best of life. At the end of the day, you cannot just stick there and say, it's okay, I did something that I did not like, so I'll have to pursue this after all because this is what I read in school. You can always make that about turn and still make the best of yourself. So we take a short break. We'll be right back after this to expound more on matter entrepreneurship. Remember, it's important that you interact with us. #NewDayKE. Tell us what you want us to discuss. What exactly do you have in form of questions? And of course, the specialists on ground will be here to answer some of these questions right after this short break. Welcome back to the discussion. Elsa Bakokeo, of course, a PR practitioner, is with me in the house, and equally Alex Kamanga, CEO of Fundies, as we get to discuss youth and entrepreneurship. And before we went for break, Sebi was raising a concern as to, sometimes what we do in life, then we realize that we are wired to do something totally different. And in line with entrepreneurship and, in line with business, many a times you'll go out there and the business opportunities that open up to you are contrary to what you've done in school or what you schooled. And most of the the people would look at this and say, no, I'll not venture into it because this is not what I did in school. So what would be the most appropriate advice to such people who sort of come out of school and then they realize that there's a business opportunity or a ground that you can venture into, but then because of the fear of, sort of not having proper knowledge and skill over this, you choose to go away? I mean, is there some sense in sort of taking advantage of what comes your way and equally going out of your way to ensure that you sort of go to school if need be, like you rightfully put it, you're still going to pursue this, just going an extra mile to ensure that you back up yourself. You've ventured into this contrary to what you read, but still you can go back to school and, just try and get more skills as to what you're doing at this particular time.
Just before Alex, I would like to say this. There's a quote I really love about Joyce Meyer. Yes. She says that it's never too late to begin again. Yeah, there's always a chance. You can always begin again. So if you realize that this direction is not what you want, I don't think you lose everything to just divert and start. Yeah, so Alex can continue.
Yeah, let me build on Sebi's point of view. And I'm going to use myself as an example because I pretty much studied for the legal background. In fact, in university, I studied legal studies. And I'm involved in a field that is totally different from what I studied in school. And it's interesting because the whole thing I see here is, can you be able to identify a problem? And if you try to look at anything big that is being built today, it's being built simply because somebody saw an opportunity, somebody saw a problem. So I see it that the only way we can be able to approach, bridging that gap in terms of this is what I trained for, this is what the direction I'm taking, is simply look at a problem that is big enough, a problem that you can solve. I mean, if I would have said that I want to stick, by all means in the legal field, I mean, I was out there for about 8 months in a law firm. And I was looking at, I don't see myself doing this the next 10 years. And should I even stick to it? And I'm not saying it's bad to stick to what you studied in school. You're simply looking at what more opportunities can I be able to create for the next guy? Because it's not enough for us to keep complaining that there are no opportunities. So I look at it as, if you can identify a problem in any area, regardless whether it's what you studied or not, there is always a way you can be able to learn. So if you're able to go into it and look at it every single day as day one, I mean, this is about the third year in the area that I'm involved in, and we always approach it as day one. So the day when one would say I'm an expert in this thing is already gone. So if you can be able to identify an opportunity, you can pursue it, you can learn. I mean, there's something that's called, training on the job or learning on the job. So the thing is, if you can be able to see an opportunity, regardless whichever background and how, regardless whether it's very diverse from where you're coming from, you can be able to take advantage of it. The only thing is that, are you able to position yourself to learn daily and get better at it?